Okay, so first we will discuss about how the things render. Okay, so whenever we receive a file to the browser, okay, browser starts rendering HTML. Okay, first it's render HTML. Okay, then what happens? We import in first thing HTML is the render. Okay, means HTML is understood by browser. Okay, and inside HTML files we import the CSS and JavaScript. Okay, so CSS is responsible for styling our website. Okay, and JavaScript is responsible for adding the functionality or adding the dynamic operations, okay, like button click or showing alert, showing pop-up window. All these dynamic operations are handled by JavaScript, while the styling like the button color, how the image width should be, how the text size, how much should be the text size, all those styling related things comes under CSS, while HTML is responsible for the structure and elements. Means button is the element I should put, means I am putting this button here, so or this button, so these things are responsible through HTML. Okay, so HTML is rendered by browser and it creates the layout like this menu option, this button options, this another menu option, all these are rendered by HTML. Okay, once inside that HTML we will have CSS file. That CSS file, we get that CSS file from server, and that CSS file is parsed. Okay, so once that file is parsed, then this CSS or style is applied to this HTML elements, okay, or UI elements. So these are the things are called as UI elements. These menu options, these menu option. Inside these menu option, we have small buttons. Okay, all these buttons. So CSS or style is applied to these HTML elements or UI elements. Okay. Once that CSS parsing is completed or reading is completed, then we uh, check for JavaScript. So JavaScript is first compiled and then it is run. Okay. So when the JavaScript is read okay by browser, it will add the functionality. Means what if I click on this button, this pop-up should open up. This is the JavaScript functionality. Okay. So in this case, we want our website to be shown to the user in a quicker time. The processing time, okay, or the website opening time should be minimum, as less as possible. If it takes 30 seconds, 15 seconds like that, user will frustrate. Okay, nowadays we have 4G, now we are going to 5G. Okay, so when our network speed is very high, then it is expected from the user that it should render, the website should be rendered very quickly. Okay, but because of our small mistakes, okay, from the development side, it is possible that we might slow down our website processing time. Okay, so that thing I will first talk about. So mostly the CSS, okay, is import inside this head tag. Okay, I will talk about all those things related to what is head tag and body tag. Okay, I will talk about this, the significance of the head tag and body tag. But just for reference, understand that we import any CSS in the head tag. Okay, with link relative. Okay, and inside that we need to pass sample.css. Okay, so I have added CSS now inside my HTML file. Now if I want to add the JavaScript now, okay, so what happens, how the rendering works, how browser read your HTML file. So it reads from top to bottom. Okay, it starts reading the document from top to bottom. Okay, so consider a scenario where I I will create one CSS file, a JavaScript file. Okay, so I have added one CSS file and added JavaScript file, and browser read from top to bottom. Okay, so what is the significance behind this first tag is that we are informing to the browser that this document type is of HTML, that is hypertext markup language. So there are multiple markup languages, okay, different types of XML, HTML, okay, these are the popular ones. So we are informing to the browser that this document type is of HTML, okay. These things we call as a tag, okay. This HTML inside these okay, inside these things, okay, we call as angular brackets, okay. This one is the HTML tag. Inside this HTML tag, everything related to HTML comes under this HTML tag, okay, and whole thing we call as element. So I will show you here. This is opening tag, okay. This is opening tag, and this is closing tag, okay, fine. So this is opening tag, this is closing tag, and whole thing, okay, this whole thing is called as HTML element. This is opening tag, and the another one is the closing tag. So mostly most of the HTML element comes with open tag, opening tag, and closing tag, and there are some which doesn't require this opening tag and closing tag. They are self closing tag, or we can say void elements, okay, that we will discuss later. So whole thing, okay, I will, and inside that whatever comes under here, okay, I will put like dot 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 dot, okay. So these things is the content, okay, this is content. So each HTML element, most of the HTML element, not all 100%, but most of the HTML element consists of opening tag, closing tag, and inside this it is the content, okay. So whenever you start writing HTML file, first you need to inform to the browser that this document type is of HTML. Okay. Then whatever HTML elements you want to add, they must be inside this HTML tag, opening HTML tag and closing HTML tag. Okay. Then there are two parts. Okay, for the HTML, that is head part and body part. Okay, so head part is responsible, okay, this head HTML element is responsible for something that is not visible to the user. It is kind of behind the scene working, the workings which are going behind the scene, okay, and this body is responsible for the thing which we want to show to the user, okay. So mostly it is called as to keep the metadata. What is metadata? Information about the data. If you search for metadata meaning, okay, on Google, it will say that a set of data that describes or gives information about other data, okay. This is behind the scene working, means what this document is related to, what it will be doing, means it is for some behind the process, okay, it is that this data is for all the things going behind the scene, okay. And the body part, okay, they might consider this is a title, first HTML repo, random change, all these things will be visible to the user. So this is the thing which will be shown to the user, okay. User will be seeing all this content, okay. So this is two parts inside HTML, head tag and body tag, okay. In most of the things we do right now, we are discussing about importing CSS and JavaScript, okay. So in this case we have imported CSS, that is sample.css, and JavaScript, that is dynamic function.javascript, okay, JS. So our browser, okay, understood that this document is of type HTML here. Now it goes inside HTML tag, then inside head, And once it reached to this point, line number 4, and read that we have imported sample.css, browser will ask, okay, that is our client will ask to server, please give me CSS file which is here imported. Okay, give me CSS file. Now you have provided me HTML, I'm reading that HTML, and now I can see that you have imported some CSS file. Please give that CSS file to me. So server send that CSS file as a response to the client, that is browser, our Chrome or any other browser. Okay, in this place again, now our browser start reading the CSS file. Now it will go inside the CSS file and it will start reading the CSS file. Okay, now HTML reading is stopped and now we are reading the CSS. So now CSS rendering has started. Okay, so now CSS rendering will be completed full, means now we will go to our CSS file. So it will see there is one style rule. Okay, there is one CSS class. Inside that CSS class we have defined one style, that is background color should be black. Okay, it read that file, done with that file. Now it again goes to HTML file. Now it will go to HTML file at line number 5. So now again we are at the HTML rendering. Okay, now it sees, okay, now I am HTML is importing JavaScript file. Okay, so now it will again ask to server, okay, server please provide me this JavaScript file. Okay, I need to read this JavaScript file as it is imported in the HTML file. Server will again send this as a response back to client, that is browser, and once it download this file, okay, it will start rendering the JavaScript file. Okay, it will start reading that JavaScript file. So reading means parsing. Okay, in another in web development terms we call parsing. Okay, so we will first parse the or read the JavaScript file. Okay, we will compile and then we will parse that file. Okay, again HTML is stopped and JavaScript parsing is initiated. Okay. Okay, so JavaScript parsing is initiated. It will take some time and it will be completed. Okay, once it is completed, again, now what happened? We will go to this page, this line number 6. Then it will move to line number 7. Then it will check, okay, this is body section. This is body element, body HTML element. This is the thing which now we want to show it to the user on browser screen. Okay, so it will check these are the content I should show. First HTML repo, random change. This content should be visible to the user, and it will end at line number 12. Okay, so everything is completed. We are done at the last phase, that is HTML rendering again. Okay, and then stop. So process will be start, okay, from here where it will first start reading HTML file. If if it see that something is imported, be it CSS or JavaScript, okay, it will ask for that file from server. It will read that file. Once that CSS reading is completed, it will go to back to HTML. Okay, incomplete HTML, whatever is in means remaining, it will start reading those remaining HTML file. Okay, then again if it sees something is imported like CSS or JavaScript, in our case at line number 5 now JavaScript is imported, so it will ask for that file from server and it will render that JavaScript file. Okay, now it comes, once all those things are completed, now it will read all the HTML file, remaining HTML file. So in this process what happens, okay, HTML rendering is taking time. Okay, why? Because we are importing some CSS, JavaScript, and all those reading is, it will take some time. downloading from server, then reading it, CSS, again downloading JavaScript from server and then reading it, and then it will start HTML rendering and then it will complete. So if we consider this process takes 40 seconds, okay? This process takes 40 seconds. That is very too much, I think. 40 seconds is almost too much. Nowadays, people tell that your website should render or it should be completed, okay, it should be visible and functioning in 10 seconds, okay, in less than 10 seconds. In our case, consider a scenario that it is taking 40 seconds, okay. So how you can optimize it, okay, how you can optimize these things. So for that, what we need to do, okay, the first thing, JavaScript must be imported in the end. Okay, you must import the JavaScript in the end. Why? So what will happen? Okay, I will just do this thing. Okay, so now I have imported the JavaScript in the body section at the end. Okay, so now what happened? That HTML rendering will start. Okay, it will import the CSS file, read it, and then it will start reading HTML again. Okay, so because of that, HTML reading is completed before JavaScript import. Okay, at least we can see some element structure, some HTML element, right? If we don't see anything because we are initially we were importing CSS and JavaScript initially itself, and we didn't read anything from body part. As I told you, body part is responsible for showing elements on your browser screen. Okay, showing these elements, okay, UI elements to show on browser screen. We must whatever it should be readed. Okay, it should be read from the body part. Okay, but it is taking time because of downloading these files and reading through these files. Okay, so we want these should be completed first, so at least user can see something is loading. Okay, at least some button I can see. So I think some menu option is coming, so at least it user is hopeful that the website is loading, or and it will be functioning in some few seconds now. So because of that, what we did, we render the HTML elements first, so user can understand that okay, HTML elements are rendered, that these UI elements are I can see, and we can show some loading option. Okay, loading HTML, again it is a HTML part only, I can show it like this. Okay, okay, like loading, and we have CSS also for that. Okay, we have imported CSS, so we can show something like loading option, the website is loading, and inside that time we can read the JavaScript. After that we can read the JavaScript, so we what we can say, we inform the user in a better way. This is the way of user experience. Okay, we have implemented some user experience, that HTML elements are rendered on website and website is loading. In that time, okay, we will render the JavaScript and then our website will be completed, will be fully functional, instead of waiting for the user and showing only white screen. Okay, in this case we are showing white screen to the user for most of the time, but in this case we are showing at least some of the elements of the HTML, and in between the time, in behind the scene, we are reading the JavaScript. Okay, so this is the part of this thinking, means this is we are enhancing our performance of our website loading. Okay, we have enhanced website loading performance here with keeping script, okay, that is JavaScript importing at the end of the HTML. Okay, this is one thing. So there are other things, okay, that we will discuss, that it has one attribute that is async and another attribute is defer. Okay, so what does it mean if you put defer and async? Okay, so what happens if you put async? Okay, as soon as you start reading HTML, okay, it will read the HTML, okay, and it will check something is imported like CSS, and then this JavaScript is imported here. So it will not wait, okay, to HTML reading come to line number 4 and line number 12. Okay, it will automatically understand that there are two files I need to import. So it will directly download those files, okay, as behind the scene, but it will keep the reading HTML file reading as it is, means it will not stop for reading those files, okay, it will not start reading these files, it will just download these files in the background. So what I was trying to say that it will be on HTML rendering only, but in this case it will download the CSS, okay, and JavaScript. It will download CSS and JavaScript, but it will not start rendering it or reading it. HTML will be first read, okay. But in case of async, what happens once the all the HTML elements are read out by browser, okay, once all the rendering is completed, then it will start reading the CSS file and JavaScript file, okay. But what happens that it will start reading in any order, okay, it will not read, okay, it's not like I have imported CSS file first and then JavaScript file second, okay, so it should read first CSS file and then JavaScript file. No, it doesn't keep the record of order, and it will directly start reading any file, okay, it will start reading any file. So this is a little disadvantage with async, okay. But in with case of defer, okay, what happens, same thing happen, HTML rendering is in progress, and in the background we will just download the CSS and JavaScript, okay, we will just keep those files ready with downloaded, okay. Once HTML rendering is completed, so user can see at least some elements, and that he can what we can say, we can give confidence that we are loading something and not just showing white screen, but we will show some menu options, some buttons like that, and we can show loading bar, okay. And once all the HTML rendering is completed, then it will start reading the files which are imported in that order. Means now I have imported CSS file first, then it will first read the CSS file, and then it will read the JavaScript file, okay. So it will keep that order of how I have imported those files, and in that order only it will read those files, okay. So this is very important part, okay. You don't just add the script, okay, you should add something like async or defer. Mostly defer is the most preferred way, okay, because it will download those files in advance, and it will be start reading once all the HTML rendering is completed. So we are improving our performance of website loading. So this is some important part which are like important. You just learn to code, okay, we just learn to code, how to code, but it is also important how to enhance our coding, how to enhance the performance also, okay. Now this is completed, so I will move to some basics of coding of HTML. So as we told already, so this is whole HTML element, this is opening tag and closing tag, okay. So all the elements, there are different HTML elements, and we put name of that element, okay. So this indicates the start of the element, and this indicates end of the element. So I will write one more thing. So for heading, okay, I if there is no heading here. So see, this is heading you are presenting to everyone. So in this case, okay, we want heading element, okay, which is h1, h2, h3. There are multiple header elements, okay, heading elements. So I will write h1, okay, this is the name of that element, and this is opening tag. H1 is the name of that element, this is h1 tag with opening, h1 opening tag. Inside that I will put content, so that is you are presenting to people, okay. And I need to close this element with closing tag. I should specify this is the end of my element, okay. As I indicate this is my start of the element, I should indicate my end of the element, so that is h1, okay. So this is heading element which will show the heading part in bigger size, okay, in bigger size it will show. You don't need to specify the font size, okay, it will take the default style, okay. You can change that style through CSS, okay, but I'm just telling that this is the bigger, this content will be shown in the bigger size, okay. And then once you go down, means h2, h3, h4, h5, so the size will be decreases. So we will see this first, okay. So we will talk about this metadata part, head part later, okay. So right now I will show you how to code little bit so you can start practicing. So I will put h1 means session. So this is my start of the element, content, and end of the element, and this is whole h1 element, okay. I will put, okay. So So see, so I have added five HTML elements with same content, HTML session, okay. And I didn't specify any font size or something, nothing. I just created HTML elements with different HTML tags with h1, h2, h3, h4. So this is for headings, okay. These tags are responsible for headings. So as you can see, h1 tag is the biggest and bold, okay. All the heading tags are bold but size differs, okay. All the heading tags are bold, okay, in style, okay. Text style is bold but sizing, font size differs. So h1 is the biggest and h5 is the smallest, okay. So this is the way you can add heading to your website, okay. So if you want biggest heading, you can use h1. If you want small heading, then you can use h5 or any other between this, okay. So this is one part, okay. Now there is another thing that you can add, means you can nest one element inside another element, okay. Means I will create one thing, p tag. So p tag is the paragraph element. You can create paragraph using this. So we will put like, okay. So I have added something lorem ipsum content, okay. These are like random words, okay, random sentences, okay. They will be added. So see, this content is added and I have created a paragraph tag, okay. These paragraph tags are in simple style, no bold, okay, and they have its own font size, okay. Now consider I want to emphasize on some words, okay, or I want to bold, I want to put some words in bold, okay. So consider I want to emphasize on this word, or I want to increase the boldness, okay, of this word, okay. So I need to nest these words, okay. What is I'm trying to say? So these single elements, okay, inside these single elements you can put another elements, okay. Okay, so for that, consider I want to bold this word, okay. I can't pronounce it, sorry. So I will bold this word. So what I did, I nested this bold element inside paragraph element. Okay, this is nesting elements. This is in, inside one element you can put another element. Okay, so we'll see. So see, you can see the difference. So other elements are normal text and this is bold, okay. So I have enhanced and put some impact on word, okay, that I want to put some impact and show something as we do underline or bold, so it can impact the reader, okay, what I'm trying to say, like that. I can add, there are so many elements, okay. So I will show you how where you can find those elements. So on W3 site, okay, you will find almost all the HTML elements. Okay, we will go through some of them. Okay, not all because it is also again too many things. Okay, but here you will find all the elements. Okay, for each and everything means for list, for table, how to import images. So we will cover the important or what we can say the one which we use mostly. We will not check the smaller ones like the bold tag or something like emphasizing or underline tag. Okay, these are very common one and you can find them here. Okay, on W3 school. Okay, so yeah, I will put another like here just for another nesting example. Okay, so this you can see this is little bit italicized. Okay, means in Italian font it is changed. This aliquid because I put it as a emphasize. Okay, I will put some space. See, it is means we provide italic style in our word, right? To this italic style. So it is added here to aliquid. Okay. So there are many other tags and we will discuss about them. Next, we will discuss about what all the block level elements and what is the inline elements. Okay. So there are two types of elements in HTML, block elements and inline elements that we will discuss. What is the difference between them and how and what is the purpose behind that. That's it for today's session. Thank you guys.